why, who cares about the color of Jesus Christ?
Oh, God.
Who cares about the color?
The white man
The
cares.
Bible does not emphasize on the color of the person, but who the person is. So I don't understand. Who cares? If Jesus Christ is red, that's their business.
Okay.
It is Jesus Christ is who you say he is to you. It's not about what anybody else says.
All right, thank you very much.
I think the question she wanted to ask, that I will help her ask, is why should we care about what color is Jesus?
Oh, very good question. Number one, Christ warned us that men would come teaching another Jesus, right? We just read that in Matthew 24, right? So that's number one. Number two, if they had to rape and beat us and murder us to get to worship their image, do you think they would teach us the true gospel behind that? No, not at all. Not only did they teach us a false image, they taught us a false gospel.
Hazelou, we got a bishop on that. See what I'm saying? Hazelou, we got a bishop on that. Hazelou, we got a bishop on that. Hazelou, see my bishop on that. All the rise and feet, show respect. All these damn dogs getting checked. Hey, see what I'm saying? Hey, shout him out. Tuesday, shout him out. Tuesday, put in work, reach the people, see my bishop, he don't play. Shout him out. Tuesday, shout him out. Tuesday, put in work, reach the people, see my bishop, he don't play. Shout him out. Tuesday, shout him out. Tuesday, put in work, reach the people, see my bishop, he don't play. Shout him out. Tuesday, shout him out. Tuesday, put in work, reach the people, see my bishop, he don't play. Hazelou, we got the bishop on deck. On deck. Hazelou, we got the bishop on deck. See what I'm saying? Hazelou, we got the bishop on deck.
Shalom, brothers. Shalom, sisters. Bishop Nathaniel here. You know what day it is. That's right. It is Shout Out Tuesday. It's Shout Out Tuesday. And you know how I love to read your letters of exhortation and your donations of support. But before I do that, I often love to cover a little bit of our hidden history. So let's all relax ourselves. Let's get our libations on. And let's get our diet food on. That's right. Diet food. Put that hamburger down. Put them fries down. Let's get some healthy protein food and eat in small portions. Can we do that? I know I'm trying. Anyway, so let's take a look at the history clips, and you know it's going to be good, and I'll be right back.
All right, I got the Revised and Expanded Holman Illustrated Bible Dictionary. I'm going to go inside the book and show you some information that Christianity has hidden for centuries. I'm going over to page 224. Page 224. Let's look and see what it says when you look up the word black. Black often used to denote the color of physical objects. Hair. Leviticus 13:31, verse 37. Song of Solomon, chapter 5, verse 11. Look at the next word. Skin. So skin is referred to as black too. Let's see the reference. Job 30, verse 30. Song of Solomon, chapter 1, verse 5 and 6. And Lamentations 4 and 8. Wow, wait a minute. So for all this time, we've been bringing out Job 30:30, Song of Solomon 1, Lamentations 4 and 8, and Christians and stupid Christian apologetics been saying, no, you're not ready. We wasn't ready. It's not talking about black. No. Now they need to shut the hell up. All right, here's the next book entitled The Vernon. Now, this is not the original copy. This is in English. Let me show you. Yeah, right over here. I'll just go to this part. This is the English version. This is not the original. Remember, the one I had was from Romania. Okay? And it was stolen. I went to this stupid moving company and they stole it. And I filed a complaint and all that. I'm so furious. So I had to order this new English version. It's not as good as the original. Nothing ever is, but I'm just going to show you what they have on the inside, which is beneficial in terms of history. All right. You know, as a matter of fact, let me go back to the beginning. Built at the command of Stephen the Great between the 24th of May and 14th of September, 1488. Vernon is today one of the best-known Romanian medieval monuments. So this is a church that was built in 1488. So we're going to take a look. Gather your kids around, gather the kids. The children can look at this. Kids can look. Okay, this is the Church of the Vernon in Romania. See somebody parked their car over there. But what I want y'all to see are the icons painted along the outside of the church. And this is what we're going to get into today. We're going to take a look at the images painted along the church. Okay, here's another angle from the book. You can see that there's things painted, pictures painted. We didn't go in close yet. I'm just showing you the outside of the church. This was done in the year 1488. Here's another angle. Now, when we go in the book, many of these images that's on the outside have now, as of this year, been whitewashed. The copy that I had, the original copy of this book in Romanian, which is like a Russian dialect, similar to Russian, most of it, 80% was still black. So if you get this book, a lot of it is whitewashed. They got very few images that are still black. But I'm going to show you regardless. Okay. This is another angle, more close up on the outside of the church. You can start to see some of the black images. Let's go further in. All right. I wonder who this black fellow is. Let's see. Genesis, Adam plowing. See, they got Adam black. Next picture says Cain and Abel on the north of the facade. Cain and Abel, black. Okay. Now I can see myself how they started to put the strokes in the hair to change it and the light in the skin. I'm going to show y'all. Watch. Y'all just bear with me. Here's an example. It's 24. This says Eve. Black. Do y'all see that? Eve, black, not Mary. Let's get some more. You can see some of them black here, but look at the faces. It's falling apart. Look, white. It looks like they already whitewashed these. That's how it looks to me, whitewashed. But I'm gonna keep on going through the book. Whitewashed. Let me see. These are all whitewashed here. I don't like these. Some of y'all might like some of these images, but to me, they're just too light. It's too light. Let's keep going. Now, y'all can see these images here. Darker, right? Then when you pan down, look, they're getting lighter. Look at that. Caucasian. But when you go further up, you can see the darkness of the skin tone. Okay, look at this one. Christ, black. Look at the angels around Christ, black. So how did they get from as black as this to the Caucasian ones I just showed you about a few seconds ago? This is where it was from. This is where it's from here. Look. Look at these black images. of the saints and the prophets. Look how black the saints and the prophets are. This is on, it says the last judgment, west facade. That's Christ in the center with the archangels around him. Look at that. Look how powerful that is. Black. Power coming from him. Look at that. 1488. The last judgment detail. Now this one I thought was interesting. Okay. I've showed y'all this before. I want y'all to look at the color difference between this guy and the angel. Look at the angel's black face. And look at this guy. And look at the white woman with chains around her neck. Let's zoom in on the angel. That's the angel we just saw. Black. Here's the hand of God. Black. Who's being judged? Esau, the white man. I want you to look at the color difference between this guy and the angels, and the hand of God and the angel here. Look at the color difference. We know when something's been whitewashed or not. This is white folks. These, how could I forget about this? White folks in chains, Edomites in chains on the judgment day. Do y'all see that? Do y'all see that? There's chains around these white folks' necks. Shackles. Look at that. Chains on their ankles. Who's passing the judgment? Look at the black angel. Look at the black hand of God. Do y'all see that? And this guy's next. But I don't want to go to the lake of fire. You're going, buddy. And you're going into slavery. For all the sins of your fathers, because you are your fathers. You are your fathers. 1488, people. 1488. Seventh trump. Trump is blowing. The angels blowing a horn, and look at the resurrection of the dead. Look at the black faces. Y'all see that? The dead is rising. The dead. Let me try and see if I can get closer up in this book. And I'll tell you, this book is a shadow of the book that I had. Let's get some more. This is the judgment of Ishmael, the Arabs being judged. The saints, I see they tried to touch them up, but they still brown, dark brown. Let's get some more. See, in the last book I had, it said that these, if I'm not mistaken, were the prophets. Black. But I can see that they touched them up. I see it. I can see it. Look at this. Look at the black angels at the bottom down here. Look at that. There's an angel. There's Mary. Look at these saints. Black. Angel. Black. Seraphim. Black. And you know what? You got these stupid people. I'm going to say this. Listen to what I'm about to say. You got some stupid people out there that say, no, all images are sin. No, only if you worship them. Remember when the Lord had Moses tell a brother to build the Ark of the Covenant. What did he tell him? He said, put images of 2 angels on the Ark. When King Solomon built the temple for the Lord, he said, I want angels, images of angels in the temple. You can read about that in the book of Chronicles. He also said, I want 12 lions on the stairs, and I want bullocks in the temple yard. So these dudes don't know what the hell they're talking about. They don't know the Bible. What they do hate is our people waking up to the truth that they're the Israelites.
Now, that was some good history, if I do say so myself. And I will say it was good. I love it. I liked it. I had thoroughly enjoyed it. Further proves that we are the Israelites and that these nations hate us. So today, we are going to discuss the Lebanese, how the Arabs of Lebanon enslave black people until today, as you're listening. That's right, I said until today. These Arabs, these Lebanese despise and hate God's chosen people. Now, I'm not saying it based on any kind of racism or anything like that. It's from the news, what we can see, what we can look up. Okay, so let's take a look at this news clip, at this documentary, at this film. And you know, I'll be right back with my biblical commentary.
That's her. Okay, let's follow her.
One migrant worker dies every week in Lebanon.
And told me that here is a cemetery. I will kill you in the night and throw you there.
Rarely seen on camera, we followed the escape of just one worker fleeing for her life.
The Kafala system is modern-day slavery. There's no two ways about it.
I mean, often the police are part of the problem. They're not part of the solution. I mean, it's a suicide mission to go into Lebanon as a domestic worker now. And then even the story a few years back of an agent stuffing an Ethiopian woman into the back of his car and her crying out for help in front of the embassy. That was caught on camera and went viral in all the international media because she died 3 days later.
The Kafala system is modern-day slavery. There's no two ways about it.
Human rights groups have lobbied politicians for years, but nothing has changed.
Unfortunately, most people here still don't understand the inherent racism of the Kafala system. They think that the abuse that we see day in and day out is the result of a few bad employers rather than a system that is built on the exploitation and subjugation of these women.
And it's widespread.
It really is. I mean, people think that they have a right to have a migrant domestic worker live in their homes 24/7, be confined to her room, not have her passport with her. These are all things that, because of decades of practice, have just become completely normalized.
And this goes beyond domestic workers. Outside African embassies across the city, migrants are waiting for their nation's help. At the Sudanese embassy, they are men. Lebanon's economy is collapsing. And so these labourers have literally been dumped by their employers.
They take us as slaves. Even I use myself, they take me as a slave. There are many people who is arranging themselves to come. They shouldn't come because this journey is do and die. It's very, very serious case. They shouldn't come.
The jobs look promising. A sponsored visa, work in a private household, the chance to send money back home to your family. But without any legal frameworks protecting these workers, many are left vulnerable to abuse with nowhere to turn. And this is why the Kafala system is often described as a kind of modern-day slavery. It's estimated that around 250,000 domestic workers are living in Lebanon. They're overwhelmingly women, and most have migrated from sub-Saharan Africa and South Asia. They're employed by Lebanese families to help with the cleaning, child caring, and other household duties. Many live in the same household under the kafala or guardianship of the family. But this guardianship comes with strings. The employer oversees nearly all aspects of the worker's life, including their passport. This means domestic workers can't leave the country, rent a house, or apply for other work without the permission of their employer. On top of this, migrant domestic workers in Lebanon are excluded from the country's labour laws, meaning that they don't have access to the rights that Lebanese workers do, and they cannot seek legal action if their rights are infringed. Instead, they are governed entirely by the kafala system, and it's not just in Lebanon. This sponsorship system, whereby a worker's right to work and live is tied to their employer, is commonly practiced across the Arab world. Human rights groups have been fighting it for years, saying the system creates an extreme power imbalance that fuels exploitation and abuse.
The high degree of control over workers' lives under the kafala system has led to cases of human trafficking, forced labor, exploitation, and more. Human Rights Watch and local organizations frequently document the non-payment of wages, forced confinement, withholding of identity documents, excessive working hours, and verbal, physical, and sexual abuse.
In Lebanon, these poor conditions for migrant workers were magnified by the country's ongoing economic crisis. We spoke with Is Lebanon, an NGO helping foreign domestic workers in Lebanon and sharing their stories about the cases that they have seen.
We started in 2017 and we're a mixture of former migrant workers, migrant domestic workers, activists from about 7 or 8 different countries, actually. We just thought that we thought Lebanese needed to know what was going on because we didn't think that they actually had any idea of just how truly evil the Kafala system was. So we thought, let's just tell their stories. But almost immediately, we became the hotline for domestic workers. So it wasn't just telling the stories, but people were contacting us saying, you know, my sister hasn't been paid for X number of years, or the girl on the balcony in the apartment above me is getting beaten up, and just like a flood, actually, of people crying out for help. And so we didn't anticipate it, but we did become the hotline for domestic workers. Well, the Ministry of Labour hotline has never really worked, so it's not surprising, I guess. But lately, when we talk to employers, they actually have been empowered by the economic crisis because they say that they've done her a favour by not throwing her out on the road like some other employers have done. You know, at the start of the crisis, there was a problem of many domestic workers being dumped on the road or in front of the embassy. And so they actually think, in their own minds, I think they've totally justified it, that they've done her a favour even if they're not paying her by keeping her in the house. So it's really becoming tricky to negotiate the release of these women, like the sense of entitlement that these employers have, that they fully have justified to themselves keeping her working for months and sometimes years without paying her. And even when we approach them, you know, refusing to send her home, it's quite bewildering, to be honest.
Munagiri was working for years as a domestic worker in Lebanon and was the victim of violent and repeated abuse. This is a photo of her when she first arrived from Nepal in 2007, aged 28. And this is a photo of her when she left in April 2022. Giri's family says she wasn't paid for most of her 15 years of service and was enslaved by her Lebanese employer, unable to leave the country. At the age of 43, she was finally reunited with her children for the first time in 15 years. She had left some of them as toddlers. We spoke to Giri's daughter in Nepal about what happened to her mother.
My mother is madam. She's beating every day. Sometimes 1 day, 3 times, 4 times like this beating. Coming and slap their mouth sometimes. There's nothing to doing anything. Only here you see black. Here you can see her experience. And I make medical report. When she is coming, I make medical report. Got your daughter angry, and this she got like this first the knife. When there is house, their madam is go outside. She lock key, and there is put also camera, and she monitor every time. When my mother going there, 2 months, 3 months, okay, she's not reaching. She's also food. After 2 months, 3 months, there is start to not giving food, beating every time like this.
Middle East Eye contacted Giri's former employers in Lebanon but didn't get a response. A report published this year by the Anti-Racist Movement, another Lebanese NGO, says that between April 2020 and October 2021, at least 18 female domestic workers died under mysterious conditions. The report says many of these deaths were deemed as suicidal without actual or enough evidence. But those numbers could be much higher, and the lack of accountability is driving many workers to lose hope that they'll ever find justice in Lebanon.
Okay, what is the Kafala system? The Kafala is an Islamic jurisprudence concept. The word Kafala in Arabic has various meanings, connotating terms such as support. So they say, oh, Kafala simply means support or warrant, and vouch, as in when you vouch for someone. That is, Kafala pertains to bail, guarantee, and sponsorship. Like when they say, oh, we want to sponsor your work visa. We want to sponsor you to work in Lebanon. Making responsibility and security its focus. It's all a lie. It's a slave system. Now, y'all saw that for yourself. Don't that make you mad? I know it make me mad. It pissed me off. This is why, watch this. I want to open up with, what I want to open up with? Deuteronomy chapter 11. I'm going to open up there. Yep. Deuteronomy chapter 11. This is when the Most High God gave us the land. Deuteronomy chapter 11, verse 21. And it reads, that your days may be multiplied, and the days of your children, in the land which the Lord sware unto your fathers, to give them as the days of heaven upon earth. So we were promised land when we came out of Egypt. Now God is going to give us the land masses, and he's going to tell you the borders. Verse 22. For if ye shall diligently keep all these commandments, I want you to listen good to that part right there. For if ye shall diligently keep all these commandments which I command you to do them, to love the Lord your God, to walk in all his ways, and to cleave unto him, then will the Lord drive out all these nations from before you, and ye shall possess greater nations and mightier than yourselves. You know what the word possess means? It means to own. Verse 24. Watch this. He's going to give us the boundaries. Every place whereon the soles of your feet shall tread shall be yours, from the wilderness and Lebanon. So who rightfully owns Lebanon? The children of Israel. From the river Euphrates, even unto the uttermost sea, that's the Mediterranean, shall your coast be. There shall no man be able to stand before you, for the Lord your God shall lay the fear of you and the dread of you upon all the land that ye shall tread upon, as he hath said unto you. What I want you all to see, okay, based upon this reading, that it mentioned the wilderness, right? I'm going to show you what that wilderness is. Go to Genesis 15 and verse 18. This is what the Lord said to Abraham. In the same day, the Lord made a covenant with Abram, that's Abraham, saying, unto thy seed have I given this land, from the river of Egypt, that's the Nile, unto the great river. Okay, that's it explains. Unto the great river, the river Euphrates. Y'all see that? So what I want y'all to see, unto thy seed have I given this land, from the river of Egypt. Okay, that is the Nile. So on the opposite side of the Nile, all the way up, belonged to the children of Israel. It was promised to the children of Israel. So when we get to Deuteronomy chapter 11, y'all have to excuse me. When we get to Deuteronomy 11, verse 21 to 25, as we read, I'm going to read 24 again. Deuteronomy 11, verse 24. Every place whereon the soles of your feet shall tread shall be yours, from the wilderness and Lebanon. So that wilderness goes into that area right after Egypt. From the river Euphrates, even unto the uttermost sea shall be your coast. That's the Mediterranean. So the land of Israel is larger than you think based upon a map. This is why the so-called Jewish man, the white man that's over there, is trying to take Lebanon. He wants that. He wants that wilderness of Egypt. Okay, that's what he wants. This is why they're bombing everything. Why? So that they can further establish that they are the Jews. They want to further establish the lie that they are the Jews. Okay? I hope y'all understand that. Watch this. Watch this. Daniel 11:14. And in those times there shall many stand up against the king of the south. That's Egypt during the time of Ptolemy. Now, the next part is what we want to highlight. Also the robbers of thy people. That's the white man who calls himself Israeli, the so-called Jewish man. Let's read that again. Also the robbers of thy people shall exalt themselves to establish the vision, but they shall fall. How do they exalt themselves? As the Jews. To establish what vision? That they're the Jews. Okay, in order to do that, what did they have to do? Take the identity, the nationality of our people. They took they created a language that they call Hebrew today. They stole the land. Now, they don't have all the land, but they're trying to gain access by bombing nations like Lebanon, Syria, Damascus, Egypt. That's what they're doing because they want that whole region right there to establish the lie that they are God's chosen people. Okay, now a lot of you Christians and you Muslims, you don't do no research on who those Caucasian people are. And you get mad with us, the Israelites, when we tell you, we're God's chosen people. Those white people are Khazars. They're Idumeans. They are Edomites. And y'all fuss and fight because you don't like to research nothing. Look at Jeremiah 22, verse 20. Go up to Lebanon and cry and lift up thy voice in Bashan and cry from the passages, for all thy lovers are destroyed. So the Lord is prophesying that Lebanon shall cry and they shall lift up their voice, for all their lovers, all their assistants, all that they associate with shall be destroyed. That's what the Lord is saying. That's right. Let's go to Isaiah chapter 10 and verse 33. It reads, Behold, the Lord of hosts, shall lop the bow with terror, and the high ones of stature shall be hewn down, and the haughty shall be humbled. And he shall cut down the thickets of the forest with iron, and Lebanon shall fall by a mighty one. Lebanon shall fall by a mighty one. Now, when you read it in its first context, of course, we know that that great one was the Cushite known as Nebuchadnezzar. However, in these last days, many of these very same prophecies come back again. Let me show you what I mean. When you go to 2 Esdras chapter 5, verse 42, it reads, And he said unto me, I will liken my judgment unto a ring, meaning it keeps going around. Like as there is no slackness of the last, meaning the last judgments, it won't slack. Even so, there is no swiftness of the first. The first judgments don't hurry up. So it's a steady rotation of God's judgments. Okay, so that strong one, which at one time was Nebuchadnezzar, right now, today, it's this so-called white man. He's the strong one. He is the world's superpower. No longer Nebuchadnezzar, but it's this white man. Okay, this is why America and all her technology is giving the so-called Israelis technological advancements to destroy and devour nations and kingdoms.
Attention Israel. ShoutOut Tuesday will no longer be hosted on YouTube. For all future viewing, go over to and subscribe to IUIC TV. And remember, stay in the spirit. Shalom, most high in Christ bless.